Hello, in this video we're going to go over the Know Your Coder lesson in TechSmart. Now the description for this one is how well do your friends really know you? Give them this quiz to find out. And the input, we're going to get some responses to the coder's questions, and the coder is the person who wrote this program. That would be you. The output will be the user's guess for each question and then the correct answer to each question. The requirements are to get the user's input for each question, to print user guesses and actual answers, to concatenate two strings together, and let a friend run the program and try to guess your answers. So let's go over to the code editor and see if we can code this out. All right, so here at the code editor, we've already got some good stuff here. We've got all of the comments that are essentially going to lead us to the promised land of what it is we need to code. But we want to make sure we read these correctly and that we really understand what to do. So line number 8 says get input with the prompt, what is the coder's favorite color? Then assign to a variable called guess. Now, we discussed this in a prior video. The use of the word then shows like afterwards, but the reality is that guess has got to be the very first thing you type in, because we assign a variable by using an equal sign to then assign whatever value that variable is going to have. So what we really have to do is type in on line 11 the word guess equals, and then we're just going to go ahead and copy this right here, all of the stuff including the quotes, but we're going to get input. So we're going to type in input and then parentheses, and then let's go like that. Now notice what happened here. So what is the coder's favorite? But for some reason it defaulted and went to this. Oh, I know why. Because I copied 2 lines down. So when I did that, basically what I did, Control V, it pasted out one was this string, but the second half of the string still had this hashtag. So it really thinks this is a comment. So this would give us a quick error. We don't want this. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to start with color and backspace, and then just keep backspacing, and there we go. So now I have it all on one line. Now, luckily, we can look at the colors of what we typed in and figure out right away if we made it a mistake or not. Now, we talked about this also. Why does it say test after this line? Because we don't have any print right now. So what are we testing for? What we're testing for is, did we make a mistake? Because we want to make sure that we don't make mistakes, or if we do, we catch them right away. So by testing all the time, we catch our mistakes right away. Now, line number 13 says print your guess concatenated with the guess. So we'll just go ahead and grab this as well. We'll copy as many things as we can in this one here so we don't make any mistakes. So now on line 15, I will type the word print and then a parentheses and then your guess, all that stuff. Now I need an operator with a plus sign, plus, and then I just want to put guess like that. Now, no quotes needed for guess because, of course, that is the variable name right here. There we go. And it says test after this line. I would recommend that you do that to make sure that you did it right. Okay, line 17 says print answer followed by your favorite color. So what we're doing here is we're telling the user, like, this is actually the answer to that question. So we're going to go print on line 18. And then I already copied answers, so I'm just going to go like that, and then plus, and then I want my favorite color, so I'm going to go ahead and just type that in, like that. And then, of course, I always forget this. For some reason, I type so fast. I need that closing parentheses. So now when I run this, this is actually going to work. Now notice these are just 2 strings concatenated together. Now, technically, I could have just nested this word green right in here. So I could just go, well, first let's run this and just make sure that it's going to work. So what is your favorite color? I'm going to say, what is the coder's favorite color? I'm going to pretend like I don't know. Your guess, red. Answer, green. There we go. That's what my display looks like. Your guess, red. Answer, green. So I know the code works, but I didn't really have to concatenate all of that stuff together. I could have done it this way. I could have just put green right here. Green. And then not concatenated anything, but I do need that parentheses. So if I did it this way, it'll literally be the same exact answer. What is the coder's favorite color? I'll say red, and then answer green. So either way you do it, as long as you don't have an error, then you've done it correctly. Now, number 20 says print a blank line for spacing. And I know I've said you can go like that. That's a blank line. That'll give you nothing. But in Python, they've kind of updated it. You can just go like that. You can just do print, and that basically is going to print nothing. It's called null. There's nothing in there at all. So that'll work as well for line 22. Line 27 says get input with the prompt, what is the coder's favorite food, and then assign to guess. So let's go ahead and grab all this right here. I'm going to copy it. On line 29, I'm going to say guess equals, and then input, all that stuff that I typed in. Let's get rid of this hashtag. Oops. And do it like that. And let's not forget this closing parentheses. So I've got this right here. What is the coder's favorite food? And then I want to go down to line 33 and print your guess and concatenate it with guess, kind of like we did before. Now, I do want to show something here as well. So our variable name here is guess. Our variable name here is guess. What we're doing is using the same variable name, but we're redefining it as we go. So on line 11, guess is whatever is in this input. But once we make guess equal to something else, like we do down on line 29, now guess is equal to this input. But it's still the same variable name. So when I do print, like this, print, and then your guess, colon, space, plus guess, like that, that's literally the same thing as right here. However, this variable guess is pulling from the closest iteration, the closest definition or assignment of the variable name. So the nice thing about reusing variable names is that I just typed all that stuff, but all I really had to do was go up here and grab this stuff here, because I'm literally typing in the same thing, and then print your guess plus guess. So it's kind of one of the advantages of using the same variable names when you're doing something that is like duplicating something else. It can be dangerous and risky to use the same variable name depending on how you use it, but in a context like this, it's actually a good idea. So then we're going to print the answer followed by your favorite food. So again, we can just go right here. I can go right here for line 18. And for line 36, I'm just going to paste that in. But instead of green, I'm going to type in, let's see, green beans. That's my favorite food, right? And then line 38, let's go down here, print a blank line. So again, we'll go print like that. Rolling down to line 45, get input with the prompt, how old is the coder, and then assign to guess. So I can just go right up here. I'm going to grab this variable assignment, and then I'm going to go down to 47. I'm going to paste it in, and then I'm going to take this right here, this question, how old is the coder, and just replace this string with that string. There we go. So hopefully you see what I'm doing here. I'm just being very, very efficient, and I'm also not making mistakes because I'm copying different things that are all the same. So again, the next line, I know it's just going to be this right here. So I'm going to copy down, copy down print your guess plus guess, because here it says print your guess plus guess. So on line 51, that's what I've got. And then I want to print the answer followed by my answer. Once again, I can just go ahead and get what I already have done and just change a few things. So on line 54, print answer colon, well, it's not green beans, because this question is asking what is my favorite, or how old is the coder. So I am 55. There we go. Now 55 I entered as a number, and I didn't typecast it, and the reason why is because it's already within a string. So because it's already within these quotes that includes answer, this is a string already. So all that's done. Now we can do some calculations. So here we're going to have to do a little bit more typing, so very important that we pay attention. So line 56 says calculate the difference between your current age and the user's guess typecast into an int and assign as a result of the variable, assign that to the variable diff, D-I-F-F. So I'll just go over here to line 60 and say diff equals, and then what I want to do is figure out the difference between my age, what I picked, and then whatever the user guessed. So my age is 55. Now here I'm typing it in, so I'm typing it in as an integer. So that's fine. We don't have to typecast or change the type for my age. However, what the person entered for guess, the last iteration of guess, that is a string, because anything entered into an input is a string. So let's go ahead and make that into an integer by going int, and then like that. So now I'm changing the guess into an integer, and then I can subtract it from 55. Very good. Line 62 says print you were off by, and then plus diff typecast into a string, plus years. Okay, so what this is saying is we want to make this integer diff, which is now an integer, back into a string so we can include it in this print statement. So we'll say print, and then you were off by space, and then a quote, and then we'll do a plus sign, and then diff, but I need to go str diff. I need to make that into a string like that, and then do another plus, and then let's get some quotes again, and a space, years, rs, like that. And that should work. There we go. So you were off by however many years, and that's in a string, so that will work. Now print a blank line on line 68, like that. And almost done here. Line 73 says get input with the prompt, what is the coder's favorite animal? Then assign to a guess. So let's go back up here and get that right here. Guess equals, what is the coder's favorite animal? So on line 75, we'll just put that there. And I will just type this in this time. What is the coder's favorite animal? Like that. Now print your guess concatenated with guess. So again, we can go up here and get this right here because I'm reusing guess all the time. So line 79 says print your guess plus guess. And then line 81, answer followed by your favorite animal. And so answer, let's go ahead and get this one right here from line 54. We'll copy that. We're going to go all the way down here to line 83. Now my favorite animal is the beast weasel, which is a very scary animal. All right, so then line 88 says add more questions below. If you want to, you don't really have to. So let's go ahead and test this to make sure that it works. Then if we got it right, we can turn it in. So I'll go ahead and test mine out here. What is the coder's favorite color? I'm going to say maroon. Nope, answer is green. What is the color's favorite food? I'm going to say lemon cake. And nope, green beans. How old is the coder? I am 24. Nope, I'm off by 31 years. And what is the coder's favorite animal? A furry bunny rabbit, right? Nope, it's a beast weasel. So I got them all wrong, but I got the code right because there's no errors. And if you did too, then you can turn yours in and you did a good job.